Thanks very much. Fantastic. So welcome everybody. Sorry about that little technical glitch there. I'm hot and sweaty in the Borneo jungle here, so excuse the sweat rolling down my face, but I'll get right into it. Really welcome you all to our webinar tonight, and we've got some very exciting news. We have a sweet little video of Beni to show you a bit later on, and some other videos. Today is all about just answering your questions and helping you understand where we've come to this year and what we've been doing and what we can do. And also ask for your help, because today is Giving Tuesday, which follows Black Friday and other sort of opportunistic internet sales, and it's a day designed to give back to the community, and so that's what Giving Tuesday is. So I might just skip straight away into the video that Jesse's got lined up for us, and thank you very much to Jesse and Audrey for organising all of this. They're big events to put together, and then I will come back as part of that, and I'll tell you a bit more about Giving Tuesday. So over to you, Jesse, when you're ready. So thanks to the Borneo Survival, Orangutan Survival Indonesia for putting together that sweet little video. There was no sound with that, so I think if you're looking for some sound, there wasn't any, but it was a sweet little video. And that was our two little babies, Jenny and Alexander, who came in during the COVID crisis. So during the COVID crisis, of course, we couldn't stop taking orangutans, and they were two that came in, and they were put into quarantine and then put into extra special care, and they're doing okay. So part of Giving Tuesday, we have been lucky enough to find a supporter who has agreed to match donations up to $10,000 today. So any donation that you give before midnight will be matched. So if you give $100, the orangutans will get $200. If you give $5, the orangutans will get $10. If you give $30, the orangutans will get $60. And on top of that, we have a special, which we'll tell you about in a minute, of a very, very, very cute orangutan toy. And oh, here he is. I'd lost him, but he's back. So this is a very cute orangutan toy. This guy, see how cute he is, look. And soft and cuddly, beautifully made by Flat Friends. And Flat Friends have been a supporter and sponsor of Borneo Orangutan Survival Australia for a while, and they just decided that they would like to help a bit more. So they virtually gave us, we paid a little bit of money to cover some of their costs, but they virtually gave us these soft toys, and every home should have them. They're safe for kids. They're beautifully made. They're really soft. I used to be in the soft toy business, and I can tell you this is a top quality one. And we have these to give away to anybody who donates over $200. We'll put one of these in the post, and I guarantee it'll delight any kid. And so they're Flat Friends. Now, we're going to go to our next video, which is the Beni rescue video, and I'll let Jesse take that over. And if there's maybe Jesse, if you want me to say anything during this, or if we don't have sound, then let us know and I can give some background. But we'll let it roll when you're ready. So Beni, as you all know, has stolen a lot of hearts. He's come a long way. He first featured on Orangutan Jungle School, and he became known for his antics and his appetite. He's recently graduated from Forest School, and is in what we call a socialization complex, which we'll come to a little bit more and explain a bit more about that. And Beni's in there waiting for a release back to the one of the pre-release islands, then eventually back in the wild. So last week we asked all of you people to give us some Beni questions, and we thought we might get half a dozen Beni questions, but we got hundreds, so we're delighted about that. We've consolidated as much as we can, and if we're always happy to answer more if there's specialised questions. But I think they've done a really good job. So Ibu Shri is Beni's babysitter, and Vet Aga is the vet who has care of Beni. And we sent your questions to them, and we asked them to put together a video. And this one does have sound, so if you're not getting sound, put your hand up and we'll try and help you with that. It's in Indonesian, but there are English subtitles. So please enjoy the Beni Babysitter and Bet video, which is having its exclusive world release for you guys today.
Yang kira-kira isinya 10 sampai 12 biji. Tapi di sekolah hutan ibu asuh diminta untuk tidak memberi buah pisang pada Beni. Tapi karena dia suka, dia akan kami berikan 1 sampai 2 biji saja. Tapi terlihat dia mengambil buah tersebut dari temannya yang lain.
Kenapa dia enggak dikasih buah pisang, Mbak Sri, dari medis?
Ini berdasarkan dari medis itu untuk menjalani diet, program diet. Makanan favorit Beni terpisah itu tidak tertentu pada buah tertentu. Misalnya dia dibawakan oleh ibu asuh di sekolah hutan itu berbagai macam buah, dia akan tetap memakannya saja, tidak harus dengan buah pisang.
Contohnya buahnya apa aja?
Buahnya contohnya itu seperti semangka, nanas, melon, ubi atau bengkuang. Untuk Beni, dia sikapnya terhadap teman-teman kelompoknya itu sangat dia termasuk tidak penyendiri. Dia itu mudah bergaul dengan temannya. Untuk teman baiknya Beni ada Ulala yang dulu sering berteman dengan ini pada saat menjelajah hutan.
Waktu dia berteman dengan Lala, petualangan seperti apa sih yang mereka jalani? Permainan seperti apa sih?
Mereka dua ini ikut dengan orangutan yang lebih besar dari dia, yaitu bentuknya lebih besar dari mereka. Mereka menjelajah hutan. Teman-temannya dalam beberapa hari balik, ternyata Beni sama Lala tidak terlihat balik. Kami berusaha mencarinya dan akhirnya kami temukan di lokasi yang lain. Dia terlihat di atas pohon besar dan tertidur dengan Lala. Sepertinya mulutnya itu terlihat banyak bekas makan buah hutan, merah-merah semua. Perbedaan untuk mengajari atau mengasuh orang hutan dengan manusia, menurut saya itu lebih susah atau lebih sulit untuk menjaga mengurus orang hutan dibanding dengan anak manusia. Karena di sini kami sebagai ibu asuh memiliki keterbatasan, misalnya dalam hal mengajari orang hutan untuk naik pohon, karena kami memang tidak bisa untuk naik pohon. Yang keduanya, kami harus mengajari orang hutan tuh mengenalkan pakan alami kayak buah hutan. Nah, orang hutan itu tertarik apabila kami sudah orang hutan melihat ibu asuhnya memakan buah tersebut. Soalnya kami kan tidak bisa untuk mengambilnya dan kami pun tidak berani juga untuk memakan buah hutan tersebut.
Ya, saat ini Beni sudah seperti graduation ya, jadi lulus dari forest school dan persiapan untuk pre island. Jadi Beni kita letakkan dulu di kompleks sosial bersama orangutan lainnya. Di situ sebenarnya lebih meminimalisir untuk berinteraksi dengan babysitter sebelumnya. Tapi saya sangat percaya dan saya sangat yakin Beni masih mengenal babysitter yang merawat Beni sewaktu Beni masih kecil. Karena terlihat jelas sewaktu saya observasi atau teman-teman dokter hewan lain observasi, ketika ada babysitter lewat, Beni pun melihat ke arah babysitter dan seperti menyaut seperti itu, dan ya babysitter pun melakukan hal yang sama seperti itu. Jadi ya saya yakin juga pasti babysitter sedikit merasa kehilangan tapi bahagia ketika Beni akan ke pulau seperti itu. Tapi itu tidak hanya pada Beni, sebenarnya semua orang hutan seperti itu. Dan Beni ya, tapi kalau sedikit lebih ininya ya, spesialnya di Beni itu bisa memanggil, bukan memanggil, seperti menyaut atau seperti ya memanggil babysitter yang dia pikir dia bisa manipulasi. Jadi ketika orang ini nih bisa nih, kalau aku bertingkah imut dia akan datang kasih makan. Jadi dia lebih memilih ke orang itu dan dia tahu siapa orang-orangnya. Gitu. Jadi setelah Beni lulus dari sekolah hutan atau forest school, di situ Beni kita letakkan di kompleks sosialisasi. Di situ tujuannya apa? Karena kita tahu sendiri bahwa orangutan adalah makhluk semi soliter. Di situ kita tidak ingin Beni langsung terputus koneksinya dengan teman-teman sebayanya. Jadi kita ingin Beni masih menjalin hubungan yang baik dengan teman-teman sebayanya dan orangutan lainnya. Tetapi itu tidak berlangsung agak lama karena kita tahu sendiri bahwa Beni adalah orangutan yang cukup dominan. Di situ ketika berkumpul dengan teman-teman yang lain, kadang teman-teman yang lain tuh merasa takut dengan dominannya si Beni. Jadi Beni kadang merebut buah dari orangutan lain yang lebih kecil, lalu kadang juga secara tidak sengaja mendorong orangutan lain. Jadi di situ agak sedikit jadi concern dari medis sendiri untuk memisahkan Beni ke kandang individual. Jadi sekarang Beni berada di kandang individual yang pasti ukurannya cukup luas untuk Beni sendiri, dan di situ Beni masih berhadapan atau berada di sekitar teman-teman yang lain.
Ya, dari secara fisik orangutannya sendiri antara Beni dengan teman-temannya, apakah memang terdapat perbandingan yang jauh dari ukuran tubuh ataupun dari sisi kompetisi?
Sebenarnya untuk ukuran dengan orangutan lain yang sebayanya, Beni cukup besar dibandingkan yang lain. Jadi walaupun dengan usia yang sama, tapi ukuran Beni lebih besar. Mungkin itu yang menjadikan Beni lebih dominan dari orangutan yang lain. Walaupun, tapi perlu diingat ada beberapa orangutan lain yang ukurannya hampir sama seperti Beni. Dan tetap saja Beni tetap menjadi dominan di situ. Jadi ya mau tidak mau memang sangat terpaksa sekali kami memutuskan Beni untuk dipindahkan ke kandang individual sesuai dengan ini dia, kebutuhan dia.
Apakah di kandang ataupun di kompleks sosialisasi sebelumnya dia pernah masih melakukan diet atau seperti apa?
Selama di kandang sosial setelah lulus dari sekolah hutan, sebenarnya saat lulus pun itu sudah berjalan beberapa tahun ya dari proses dietnya. Jadi sudah menunjukkan hasil yang bagus dan hasilnya Beni sudah dalam kondisi sehat. Jadi setelah berada di kandang sosial seperti itu, kita tidak melakukan diet lagi kepada Beni. Nah, masalahnya seperti itu, ketika kita tidak melakukan diet lagi kepada Beni, kompetisi akan muncul dan Beni merasa punya hak untuk mengambil buah-buah yang ada di situ. Jadi kasihan teman-temannya yang lain ketika harus buahnya direbut oleh Beni. Seperti itu. Jadi ya memang keputusan yang sangat susah sekali untuk medik harus memisahkan Beni dengan teman-teman sebayanya agar Beni tidak menjadi lebih gendut lagi atau menjadi lebih besar lagi dan teman-temannya mendapatkan porsi yang ideal. Seperti itu. Untuk kondisi ideal Beni, tempat ideal Beni itu seperti apa sih? Bukan mungkin ya, atau Beni berharap tempat ideal adalah tempat yang penuh pisang? Saya tidak tahu dan pasti itu bukan itu jawabannya. Kalau dari penilaian kami, tim yang ada di BOSF, tempat ideal untuk Beni dan orangutan lain adalah tempat di mana tidak ada batasan untuk mereka hidup. Jadi tempat yang terbuka, tidak ada batasan, yang mereka bebas mengekspresikan tingkah laku mereka, bebas mengekspresikan behavior mereka, terbebas dari rasa lapar dan haus, terbebas dari rasa takut, terbebas dari penyakit, dan terbebas dari segala macam yang membahayakan hidup mereka. Itulah tempat yang ideal untuk Beni dan orangutan lainnya. Dan di mana kan tempat ideal itu? Dari kami, tempat ideal itu berada di tempat pelepas liaran, di hutan alami, tempat rumah mereka.
Isn't that wonderful? What a fabulous team they are up there in Indonesia, and such great care that Beni and all of his mates are getting, and such lovely people, the vets. So we thank very much to Ibu Shri, his Beni's babysitter, and who's got one of the best jobs in the world, and Vet Aga, who has answered your questions. And so you can see that this is a great cause, and you can see that we are actually doing things on the ground. Any donation you give goes to help those guys. It pays for their uniforms, it pays for their food, it pays for the electricity, and it pays for the eventual release of these orangutans back to the wild. So thanks to all those people who have already given. If you have a chance to give, today is the day to do it, because for every dollar you give, $1 will be matched. A special shout out to Jackie for giving $35, Alison for a wonderful $50, Anna for a generous $200, and John for an amazing $250. Thank you to all of you, and thank you to all of the people that have donated. And you can go to our website at any time and just type in orangutans.com.au, and we're trying to raise that target of $10,000 tonight to be doubled to $20,000, and we're well on our way of doing that. So I think we've got just a 2-minute video. You can't have too much Beni. So we've got 2 minutes for Beni, and then we'll go back to Lou Grossfeld, who will answer your question. And thank you for all those people who have answered questions. We have them here, and we'll answer those questions plus any more to you in a second. So over to you, Jesse. Thanks very much. Thank you very much. And just notice the time. Sorry, we were just a few minutes later in starting, which was my fault. So we will continue on for an extra 5 minutes or whatever it takes to answer your questions. So please don't worry about your questions not being answered. We'll definitely do those. We've had so many questions come through the webinar, but I think I'm going to ask Lou Grosfeld, who is known to many of you as an orangutan expert, and has been a founding member of BOSS Australia and has spent a lot of time in Indonesia and is a orangutan behavioural expert, and she's going to join the panel. And there she is. Hello.
Tony, evening. How are you? Your background's a lot nicer than mine.
Yeah, well, I cheated. This is the guys up at BOSS Indonesia had one of these on their wall up there, and I said, I want that for my screen. So it's pretty cool.
Very
Thanks.
nice.
And I've actually even got a lovely sun bear in the background.
Oh, and clouded leopard too.
And
yes.
a clouded leopard, yeah. And yeah.
Very good.
So we're going to go to questions. So maybe you could just give us a brief update about your current work. One of the questions that we had was, what can we learn about facial gestures really mean, and where can we learn more about that? So this person said, I've read that they will look at one another and then look away because they're considered rude or threatening. So what's the best way to find out to be a good reader of orangutan facial gestures?
That's a great question, and it really got me thinking actually when I was reading that. I think we can learn a lot from orangutans, I guess, about social courtesy. But I think if we take it right back to where orangutans are found, the fact that they're essentially a solitary animal, to them looking directly and maintaining eye contact is not a normal behaviour for them. So I think that whenever you're in the presence of an orangutan, that I think also following those same gestures is really critical to allowing them the opportunity to accept you into their environment. So looking at them, glancing away, it's something that I've done in my years of working with orangutans, and something I encourage anyone that has the opportunity to get close to one. So they're not as rambunctious or confident or outgoing as your African ape. So there's a lot more subtlety with orangutan behaviour and facial gestures. So we could learn a lot from them.
Great, thank you. Are there any good books or any reference books you'd recommend?
Oh, great question. I think there's some fantastic orangutan authors out there. Carol Van Schook is one that I have read over the years. Barbara Harrison, Barute Galdikas. There's a number of people that work very closely with them. Obviously, the Boss Foundation staff themselves, you know, those guys have a huge amount of knowledge and experience. Maybe there isn't a particular book that's out and available, but what I can do is certainly come back to you with some latest.
Yeah, okay. If you can do that, that would be great. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Question about, I think I can answer this one. Will Beni grow flanges when he gets older? We would expect so as a dominant male. Interrupt me if I'm wrong on that one. And the question is, how is the filming of Orangutan Jungle School and Orangutan projects coordinated with Boss? How long do they shoot, and will there be a season 3? So there's been no announcement of season 3 yet, but we are certainly got our fingers crossed for one. It's a very long process. It takes, I think it was about 6 months for one series to shoot. Days and days and days sitting in the jungle, just waiting for something to happen, waiting for something funny to happen, and waiting for something interesting to happen, and then making sure that they're at the right angle and the right place. But it looks like there will be a season 3, but it's the details are yet to be announced yet. And we might go to Lou on your other question there. What was your other question? What kind of enrichment items are useful for orangutans?
Great question. Enrichment, obviously, the motivation behind it is to encourage species-specific behaviour. So orangutans are highly intelligent, they're very manipulative, so they're very good at problem solving. And I think Beni just showed you then just how good he is. I was going to say, Tony, did you like how he modified his water drinker to use as a fountain as well? So not sure that was the reason why it was installed, but it just shows you their great depth of knowledge and ability to problem solve situations. So the thing is about providing them opportunities to think, to problem solve, and to test their environment. And it's also very much a reflection of their age and their level of development. Obviously for younger animals, you're going to use something that's you know, probably a little more safe and simple, and all the way up to your fully adult flanged males and adult females, where it's really about learning to explore and understand their natural world. So we do that very effectively in all of our Boss Foundation sanctuaries at various stages of development. Great question.
Good. We had a question about donating overseas. Hina Patel asked if it's possible to donate overseas. Yeah, look, we don't care which of the countries you donate to. It all goes up in the same place in Indonesia. The question was about UK pounds. And yes, there is a Borneo Orangutan Survival UK. You should be able to find that just by Googling it. But if you can't, let us know and we'll help you find it. And we can answer those questions. There's always a lot of questions about palm oil. Somebody asked if there'd been a noticeable reduction in palm oil usage throughout the world since this program's been, since OJS. Sadly not. But there has been an increase in sustainable palm oil being produced. And I think that's a good sign. In Australia, I'm really sad to say we just don't get it. It's not compulsory to label palm oil. Palm oil is used in a lot of products and you don't know what you're having. My advice for people is get cranky about this. Come home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, put the kids on the phone to the telephone numbers on every product has to have a customer service or consumer complaint hotline. Get on the phone to them and say, do you have palm oil in your product? What are you doing about it? Is it sustainable? And the more calls they get, the more they'll do. And then when you get really cranky, ring your local politician and say, why are you not allowing the food, or why are you allowing the fast food companies to not label palm oil on your products? It's simple. We're putting this stuff into our bodies. We're eating this stuff. I want to know what's in there. And those tricky names that they use, we just don't know. So that's the hardest bit.
Good advice.
Is there any concern about Beni being obese in the wild? I would say not, Lou. There's not a lot of bananas out there.
No, and I think it just shows how incredibly adaptive he's going to be. The fact that he can find resources really well. So I suspect it won't be an issue. So it's great to see that. A good sign.
Yeah, great. Okay. The question is, do the orangutans in socialisation cages, where they're only, I should point out, for a short time while they're in quarantine and then islands being prepared, do they get any time outside? Lou?
Yeah, so all of the socialisation cages have opportunities for the animals to be exposed to the elements and also to get away from it. They're designed that way. But Tony, you're right. They're a part of a process, and you know, our final goal is to get them to those pre-release islands, and from there to get them out, obviously where they should be. But it's a long process, and it's something that, you know, working on all the time.
Yeah, yeah, and there's been a question about updates. One of the questions was, once Beni is released, will we still get updates? And I'll take that as a question about all sorts of updates, because we're getting questions about this orangutan and that orangutan. We have about 550 orangutans in captivity, so it's understandable. It's very hard to get updates to everybody about each one of the 550 orangutans, but we do have an adoption program, and we commit to sending out 2 or 3 updates a year to all of those people that adopt those orangutans. So if you're an adoptee of an orangutan, you'll get an update in the next, I think it was the middle of January is the next update. It has been hard to get, early January early in the new year for the update, so everybody will get them. It has been hard to get updates. Mainly because, as we know, the areas have been in lockdown, so for COVID. So we normally send teams of photographers and videographers in to do the updates, but they just can't get in there. And also, we haven't moved the orangutan. The orangutans are in lockdown locations where we just don't allow visitors in. So thanks for the questions about updates. Unfortunately, we can't provide updates on every Orangutan Jungle School baby, because there are hundreds of them, but we can provide updates on the ones that you adopt through the Borneo Orangutan Survival Program. And for example, when Beni is released, will we still get updates? Well, yeah, the process when they're released is that they're intensively monitored for 6 months, and then once they've been for 6 months, then we say that that's it, that's a success and it's a victory, and they're back in the wild, and we don't bother them anymore. But for the first 6 months we do. So if, for example, Beni went out there for a month and wasn't doing well, and we might have to bring him back, then that would be part of an update. But certainly any observations that they have would be shared with him. But there's this thing called a graduation in the update program, the adoption program, where they get once they get released, and then we ask you to transfer your support to another orangutan who's going through that process, because we don't want to hold orangutans back, obviously, that are on the program. We want to get them out there as much as possible. But the problem with that, of course, is that we just can't get you a regular update. In America, how do I get an orangutan outreach for the USA? There is an orangutan, I think it's actually called Orangutan Outreach, an organisation in the USA that supports Borneo orangutan survival. If you've got a particular desire to open up a new organisation, they're just about to open up Borneo Orangutan Survival USA, and I see that Mr. Cole or Ms. Cole is offering to do something there. So be in touch. We'll put you in with the people in touch with America. If you've got some capacity in America, they would love to hear from you. Are we seeing we're seeing less orphans? Look, it's very hard to know, because we don't see all of the orphans. We have some that come in, and so it's a matter of how many were lost and how many came in. We think there have been less deforestation, not necessarily as a result of COVID, but from the result of world pressure, and it's definitely less than it was. It's by no means perfect, but it's definitely there's less deforestation. Do we have volunteer programs? Yes, we do, but they're on hold at the moment for COVID. But keep an eye on our website, and as soon as they're released, or our messages, and they'll go back on the site. And Lou hosts the that program.
Yep.
Last question. So an update. We've got $7,600 so far out of the 20,000 goals. So thank you very much. That's gone up dramatically in the last half hour or so. So we really appreciate that. And again, if you go to Borneo Orangutans Survival, orangutans.com.au, we can answer your just on the questions. We didn't get a chance. We will try over the next week to send you the any answers to your specific questions, but not just the last question here. Is there a possibility of having a live feed on an adopted orangutan? We would love to do that. Problem is that the orangutan moves around, so we'd have to move the feed around. The other problem, I presume you're talking about a live video feed, not a live, feed of bananas, but the live video feed, the internet in Borneo, especially Narromintang and Zamboja Lestari, is shocking. And all you would see would be about 5 minutes a day of blurry and interrupted video. We're working on it, and we're hoping that the system will get better. We've got some programs to try and do that, and to put some satellites in. But the last quote we got was almost $100,000 to put in for a proper internet. So yes, an orangutan camp would be awesome, but unfortunately we don't have the internet to be able to do it. So we are pretty much out of time. As I said, we got up $7,600, which is really, really appreciated. And don't forget, I can't tell you how cute these toys are. Aren't they, Lou? They're so cuddly. They're so soft. They're beautiful. And
yes, they are. And it's a great way to support. It's a great way to support our cause.
Yeah, beautifully made. And thank you very much to our friends at Flat Friends who let us have these for almost nothing, so that we could get. We don't want to spend money on buying soft toys to give you guys as gifts. We'd rather that money goes to the orangutans, and so that's why it's been so special that Flat Friends did us an amazing deal on this. They're lovely people, and we really appreciate their stuff. So Lou.
Can I just call out and say thank you to Lena, because I agree the Flat Friends they've been a tremendous support for Boss Foundation and Boss Australia. So if you really do want to help us, this is a great way to do it. So
So we've now got all the orangutan stock. So if you want to get one of those from us, you can go to our online shop. But the best way to do it is to donate $200, and we'll send you one out for free. But there are other Flat Friends, cats and dogs and all sorts of other things, and support them and tell them tell them that you love their support for Borneo and Orangutan survival. Okay, and I think that's about it. So thanks for joining us. Thank you, Jesse and Audrey and Renee, our amazing fundraising team, for putting this all together. Thank you to all of our supporters, and it'll help us to rescue, rehabilitate orangutans like Jenny, Alexander, and of course our favourite little boy, Beni. When you leave the webinar, you'll get a very short survey. It'll take less than a minute to complete. So if you'd like to tell us that, and any questions you've got, pop them in there, and we'll do our best to get back to you individually. And thank you for joining, and thanks for your questions, and thanks for so many people who put so many questions up. We really love hearing from you, and we love the fact that you join in these webinars. And thanks very much. And I think Jesse will just go to a closing, very short video. And thank you very much, and we love your support, so thank you very much.
Conservation work has never been a simple task. In the world of COVID-19, it has become even more challenging. Thanks to the support of so many, we could keep our programs running. You help us to take care of 431 orangutans and 71 sunbears. We have taken measures to curb any possibility of the spread of coronavirus. Employees who work closely with our animals are given routine temperature checks. Wearing surgical masks and protective gloves has become the norm. And in both centers, we carried out regular COVID-19 tests for all our staff. We have also helped to rescue 12 orangutan throughout 2020. For those whose dire circumstances required rescue, despite the pandemic, extra protection were put in place to protect the orangutan and the teams from COVID-19. Thanks for helping us to care for our amazing animals, to keep our wonderful staff, and continue our important work. I promise we will use it to do everything possible to save the species we all love.